Hey there, Kimber. Thanks for opting into the video critique. Um, I just pulled up your slide presentation. I like this full bleed that you have going on with the orange. I wondered if this logo has been slightly um, pushed together on the right and the left. It looks like it is a little more narrow than I expected it to be. Here, let me look. Um, Maybe not. I feel like this is a little more spread out than the one on your slide presentation. So just make sure that it's proportionally constrained. Um, I would probably, you could even get away with just looking at this logo and the amount of space in between the letters and say, okay, between the A and the L, it's probably 1.5 of the width of these L's. And does it feel like that over here? Okay. And if not, maybe place this again or pull it out a little bit. Just feels a little bit tighter than I think it should. Um, but this is a good intro page. I like it. You selected a really nice ad to emulate, which is nice. I would probably align the top of this orange with the top of your ad just to keep on following that design principle of alignment. That small change will help kind of provide some visual continuity across the top of the page. Um, I would, if you're gonna, I'm guessing you're going to add more writing here. Valspar's original design using repetition in the following. Oh, okay, I see. Okay, so you're mostly talking about repetition here. And when you have two slides talking about repetition with font color and shape. All right. I would add a colon instead of a semicolon if you want to kind of do that. Where you're promoting the next two slides on this slide. Font color, white font. I feel like perhaps you could spell things out a little bit more for me because I'm not quite sure. You're talking about font color. So maybe you could say, instead just say typography and then maybe one very small sentence, like small in terms of type. I would keep it really nice and tidy so you still have a lot of white space where you say, this ad uses a sans serif with a variety, some caps locked or some all in caps, others not. That's consistent for their logo and their slogan or something along those lines. Okay, elaborate a little bit more so I'm not totally guessing or trying to figure out what you're implying on these slides. And then your ad, this is good. I wouldn't say I used repetition in similar ways to tie them together. Think of yourself as representing an ad agency. So you could say the new ad also uses repetition in font and shape or something. Okay. You could even elaborate on the color schemes and the highly saturated images. You could talk about a few more of those design principles, maybe, to kind of just provide a little bit more continuity and say how you explain and explain how these two ads really relate and go together. Okay. Here we have this again and that again. Okay. So, yeah, I'm just a little bit more content when it comes to explaining how these two ads are similar. Your new ad looks really nice. I like it a lot. Um, I don't know if you're the one who placed the pumpkin in the foreground on this. It looks like maybe it could benefit from some kind of shadow. It would probably be over here. It almost looks like it's floating, which is interesting because if this was a stock image and it wasn't floating, I don't know, but it looks a little like it's elevated. Um, so maybe perhaps adding a little bit of some darkening on the side or something might help. Um, but overall, the ad looks really good. It's super consistent with the original, which is a big goal for this assignment. And your slide design is clean. There's lots of white space, which is definitely appreciated. You could perhaps play around with adding in a contrasting color, or maybe your writing down here is kind of a deep dark gray. That would be nice. But just be careful if you're adding in some elaboration on the design principles. be sure to keep your typeface really small. People are having large writing on these slides when they're elaborating, and you don't need to do that. Follow that rule of contrast. It's really important on all your designs, not just on your ads. See, look how tiny this writing is. Look at the contrast between those. That's something you want to kind of mimic on your slide design as well. Right? So you're off to a really good start. Just tidy up a few of those alignment things, and then a little bit more content. All right, thanks, Kimber.